It's time to review Power Girl number 8 from Leah Williams and Eduardo Pensica on art. People have been asking me to make you review these comic books for the last a couple of months because they've been really bad, but this actually ties into House of Brainiac, Doc. Are you ready to jump into the big Superman event after Power Girl?
Sure, I guess. But when you made me read this, I felt like you just wanted me to take a nap.
I don't know who this character is, but I do distinctly recognize that this is not Power Girl. I think it might just be Leah Williams.
Yeah, there's a lot of boob jokes in this. And there's the I'm an uncoordinated woman jokes throughout this entire thing that got really, really old really quick.
But I do think this is a great example. You've got a big Superman story leading into absolute power. House of Brainiac, you got Josh Williams on here, probably your top-selling writer in all of DC Comics doing action in Superman. Why tie in Power Girl to this?
They're going to make the excuse of, well, we can't have a super family event if we're ignoring half of the super family. You know that's the logic they're using on this. Now, the fact
whole
that
super family's been taken. It's not a Superman family event. It's a Superman event. We've got a Power Girl book. We should probably let Leah Williams tangentially try to associate what she's doing very poorly with this cool thing that actually is getting people excited.
I feel like this issue existed just to exclude her, but still address that it's happening.
I think you are completely correct. Let's get into this comic book. I felt like a half or even 2/3 of the book, but actually it's only a third of the book is dedicated to Paige learning how to roller skate in the park where Lois Lane is about to do her yoga. And then we're going to have the invasion of the Brainiac robots and Khazarians that eventually ends up taking all the Superman family but Paige herself. And wouldn't you know it, Doc? She's clumsy. She can't skate because she's top heavy.
I am the last person to ever complain about a boob joke. That being said, Jesus fucking Christ, Leah, come up with a second one, because you've been telling the same boob joke for your entire comic book writing career.
Well, there's another joke in here, Doc. It's the psychic jerk jar joke. I think we get 3 callbacks to it. Whenever Omen reads Paige's mind or does something jerky based on her psychic abilities, she's got to throw a little money in the kitty, Doc.
Yeah, it's basically a swear jar, but for psychics. Yeah.
And they're having a conversation about a boy that may or may not be flirting with Paige. I imagine he is because she's quite attractive. She texts him and it turns out, yes, he is flirting with her. Not surprising.
It's this weird, like, autistic girl thing, like where somehow now girls don't recognize when boys are flirting with them.
One of the most self-assertive, self-confident characters in the entire DC universe. A self-empowered female character now is oblivious and completely dependent on other people and has no self-confidence. It's the weirdest change in character.
This is obvious Leah Williams self-insert. I'm really awkward and I never realize when people are flirting with me. I have never met a single woman that was not actually retarded that didn't know when a boy was flirting with them.
But that's a third of the book. Yes. It's absolutely ridiculous. It feels like more than that, but it's just a complete waste of time. Nothing really is established other than this Axel guy is some type of criminal. It looks like he's about to break into a building or something. And then the book almost gets cool there for a minute, Doc. All of a sudden the Khazarians show up and they throw Omen into one of the weird water bottles that shrinks people and brings them back to Brainiac's ship. She changes from her Paige persona into her Power Girl persona, and you actually get a couple of pages of action, and the art looks really good, and she actually looks like Power Girl.
You get Power Girl going and kicking a little bit of ass, trying to figure out what the hell's going on, why all these people just showed up. And she has a tiny little bit of struggling. She isn't able to easily destroy these robots that she has never been exposed to. Leah Williams wrote a comic where Power Girl actually had to struggle even for a couple of panels in defeating these robots is legitimately surprising. But 3 panels later figures out that she can just rip their heads off and then suddenly starts manhandling it. But for about a page, for like 4 panels, we got her struggling.
But for a couple pages, it almost like, whoa, is this going to be an Action Comics 1064 situation? Where the first 7 or 8 pages absolutely suck and then everything after that is actually pretty good. That was not the case. Unfortunately, she realizes all the Superman family members are gone. They've all been taken from Metropolis. She even realizes they took her cat. They wanted everybody but her, including her cat. And she seemed to be a little bit depressed because Brainiac and the Khazarians chose everyone but her.
Yeah, like, I mean, I feel like this is going to turn into Power Girl saves the day by saying that they don't get to choose who her family is. She does.
I have a sneaking suspicion that this is Leah Williams, having a dramatic memory about being picked last in dodgeball and how it made her feel.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it feels like. You don't get to decide who my family is. I do.
She's not really a Superman family character. Certainly, she is the Earth 2 version of Superman's cousin or whatever, but she's a JSA character. Why is she all of a sudden needing hugs from Superman?
Because, like every other weirdo comic book writer, their characters that they get put on need to be validated by the real characters, because that totally works in validating them to the reader.
We find out, at least Superman deduces, that the reason she wasn't taken because she operates on a different frequency because she's from Earth 2. But if she operated in a different frequency, Doc, and she was on Earth Prime or whatever, would we even be able to see her?
Theoretically, she should just start falling back to her own universe the minute unless she alters her vibrational frequency to match our universe. She should just fall back through the universes, back through the multiverse to her own universe. Leah Williams isn't smart enough to figure that part out.
So that's the reason she wasn't taken. It's not because they didn't think she was worthy. It's because Brainiac's equipment didn't recognize her, even though they saw her flying and beating them up and ripping heads off.
The robot should have been able to make an executive decision that, we're taking this broad too. Nope, apparently they're not that advanced.
And I assume Brainiac is tied into them, so he would be aware of what they're seeing and be like, this lady looks like she's got some Kryptonian powers. Maybe we should water bottle her too. He
should know who the fuck Paige is and Power Girl and just be like, I don't know why my robots are picking her up, but grab that bitch.
That would have made sense, but it wouldn't have made sense, I guess, for the story if she was going to have a tie-in to House of Brainiac. On the cover, it does say Crush is going to be along for the ride. I don't know if you've read much Crush. She's basically the illegitimate daughter of Lobo.
Yes.
She was introduced into a Teen Titans series from, I think his name is Adam Glass. I actually liked the character quite a bit until they gave her to Mariko Tamaki. She's pretty good, but the cover is a bit deceiving because she's not really in the book much at all. I think 2 pages maybe.
And she seems really confused about why she's even there. The same way that you and I are probably confused on why she's here as well, because she doesn't do anything.
Crush is a lesbian, and I figured they were going to be scissor sisters, but it seems like Paige is still into the dudes at this point. But she quickly dispatches of Paige with her chain and all that kind of stuff, and then she introduces her to the Holiday Girls.
I don't know who any of those chicks are either, but sure, why the fuck not? Crush will be there to help Paige after she gets disappointed because the boy she's flirting with is actually a villain.
I think she's just there so Paige can ride bitch on her motorcycle.
This is Leah Williams living out some fantasies.
She's here, and they're going to team up at some point, although it doesn't. Well, I guess it happens right there, because there are a couple more pages. I did find this one a little perplexing. So Brainiac had a bottled city from Khazarian, even though Lobo had destroyed the entire civilization and murdered them all because they're supposedly peaceful. There's this dude that was legendary. His name is General K. Hall, and he and his men had taken over this city, and it got bottled by Brainiac, and that's how he has an army of Khazarians, and that's how they're there. He sends them to Earth from his ship along with the robots. Before the Justice League can do anything to respond, he sucks them all back using Brainiac technology. Apparently, if you stick yourself in a garbage dump, the Brainiac technology does not see you anymore, and it's unable to actually extract you.
But apparently hiding in a dumpster will protect you from being sucked back through. You don't think that these people, like with dimensional portals and shit like that, they're like targeted to your actual genome or something?
I'm assuming these guys are tagged. Biometric scan on them or something.
Yeah, like something buried under the skin that's like just like you have in all those movies where it's a tracking chip.
Apparently they left a group of Khazarian teenagers that are up to no good on Earth on accident.
They were smarter than everyone else to just hide in a dumpster, because steel with a plastic lid absolutely shields you from intergalactic teleportation rays.
It's scrambled the vibrations. And then they also stole a nano blaster from Brainiac, and they're super duper happy because now there's freedom baskets and he shoots one of his friends with it and thinks it doesn't work, I guess because he didn't die. But then they realize it turned another motorcycle that it accidentally shot like into a dragon motorcycle that was a living dragon, but also a motorcycle, maybe?
It turns inanimate objects sentient? I have no idea.
Didn't we see this already in, what was that Spider-Man X-Men event?
The knockoff of Inferno, yeah.
Yes.
We also saw this in fucking Transformers. I think it was the first one. No, it was the second one.
Where the toaster turns into a robot or something?
Yeah, everything is fucking
no, it was
turning.
a phone. It was a phone.
And it's like trying to eat people. We saw this in Transformers, and we saw this in Inferno, and we saw this in that, Dark Web. That's it. Leah Williams needs to do it again. She probably felt left out, and this is her chance to do those.
Not exactly an amazing comic book, Doc. I'm not going to recommend this one for the peeps. It's nonsensical. If you like Power Girl, you're probably going to hate this comic book even more than I did. Not that I don't like Power Girl, but I'm not a huge Power Girl fan. But this is not the character. I don't know what this is. Like I said, I think it's Leah Williams if she was learning how to roller skate, kept knocking herself over or falling over because her tits were too heavy.
Yeah, that's exactly the joke here. It's just the same joke over and over. Look, I don't mind the action parts of this, but Leah, you're not funny. Please stop trying to write comedy. Like when you actually write action, it's not that bad.
I did think it was funny that Brainiac took the cat and left her. Whether she's operating on different vibrations or not, I think there's a reason, because the cat is more useful.
I think that is probably the case. Yeah, the cat is a little more useful. So does that mean that the cat is Kryptonian?
I know the cat has powers, but I've not gotten into it that much. I don't care about like superpowered cats.
I generally don't either. I'm just confused if the cat is Kryptonian.
I assume it's just a knockoff of Carol Danvers' cat.
I understand that. I just don't understand why.
They made a movie and people talked about it and they bought the shirt.
That's a good point. Yeah. Get rid of all the
slice of life bullshit.
Yes.
Holding you back. Yes.
Yes, exactly. The psychic jerk jar. By the way, this guy that she is into.
Axel?
Yeah. This is typical, make a black dude that looks like Steve Urkel.
No, Axel makes Steve Urkel look like Ice-T.
Yes, exactly. This guy is the most non-threatening, effeminate-looking black dude I have ever seen. Like, if
let black guys be cool again. There's nothing wrong with that.
Absolutely not. Like, there used to be like black guy cool that a lot of us would look up to and be like, "Fuck yeah, that dude is cool."
Not allowed to do it anymore.
No, shit. Okay, I'm a big Wildstorm fan. I didn't like Star Trek. But like Deep Space Nine, the fucking captain guy, I don't remember his name. The black dude with that guy. Like he became such like an embodiment of cool. Whenever Warren Ellis went on to Stormwatch, he entirely redid the look of Battalion, the main character of that title, to look like that guy. The shaved head, the goatee, the kind of badass, take no shit attitude. That guy was fucking awesome. And
you and I definitely have different opinions on what makes a great black character awesome. Me personally, I would give this, it's so hard to put a number on it. If I was going out of 5, I would go 1.5 out of 5, maybe 3 out of 10, because there are moments where the art saves the book.
There's moments where the art saves the book, and there's moments where the art makes me hate the book even more. I'm looking at, I'm just taking a flip through this again. Okay, 1/3, a full 1/3 of this book is just slice of life bullshit. There is not any action until page 11. So half of this book is garbage. It means at best it can only get a 2.5. I'm going to give it a 1.5 as well.
There you go. Great minds think alike. Not recommending this one. May God have mercy on your soul, Leah Williams. We don't deserve this, and you should never have tied this into House of Brainiac, which has actually been pretty fun. If you would like the full review of this particular comic book with Wes and Dok, I did have it edited down here for YouTube's, but you can go check it out on Think Critical Patreon. We've got that. We've got the entire conversation about all the X-Men books that are coming out and the talk about Uncanny X-Men, as well as the Dok Q&A, all live on Think Critical right now. There's a link in the video description.